It's time to get creative as Hale.
Be strong.
And we're live. Hey everyone, welcome to Creative As Hale. I'm your host, Amy Hale, here with my fabulous husband and co-host, John Hale. And we are so happy to have tonight's guest, author and publisher, Charles F. Millhouse, joining us. But as always, before we jump in, we need to take care of just a little business first. So let me find my graphic here. We want to say a huge thanks to our Patreon supporters. The wonderful supporters have helped us purchase some new equipment for the show. And with their help, let me see if I can get that up there. There we go. Whoop, there we go. With their help, we're going to continue to put together the best shows, books, and other entertainment we can. You can support us for as little as $1. So if this is something you're interested in, please check us out at the address at the bottom of the graphic right there. And you can also find that link in the show notes below. We also want to let everybody know that we are very proud that Creative As Hale is part of the Rising Tide Network. This great group of shows are listed on the graphic. Take a screenshot or check out the Rising Tide Network link in the show notes for more information. If you're looking for great entertainment and education, you'll find it in the Rising Tide. Now, if you are watching us on YouTube, we would love it if you would be so kind as to click that subscribe button over there, ring that bell to let YouTube know that you don't want to miss anything from our channel. If you're watching on the author Amy Hale Facebook page, please give that page a like and or follow us as well. And of course, we want to talk about appearances real quick, upcoming appearances. We are going to be at Big River Comic-Con on April 23rd and 24th in Hannibal, Missouri. We will be joined by amazing guests such as artist Eddie Price, artist Eric Hawkins, artist Lorenzo Lozana, actor Carrie Means, actor Mark Dawson, and author Brian K. Morris, just to name a few. So now, without further ado, let's welcome our guest, Charles Millhouse. Let me get rid of that so we don't have to look at that anymore. Here we go. Hey, Charles, how are you?
You know, I love that opening music.
Oh yeah, it's everybody in the back. We're sitting in the green room is just like going. It's nice and upbeat.
Yeah,
oh well, let's see here. We already see some comments. Let's see what we got going on. Keisha A. Cuff says hello. Hi, Keisha. Cindy kept waves. Hi, Cindy. Mm-hmm. Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, Little Boy Blue here. Let's see. Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, Michaela who? Eric Hawkins says, hey, everyone. Hey, Eric, we were just talking about you. Ted says, good evening, John. And oh, hi, Amy and Charles. Thanks for joining us, Ted. All right. So remember, guys, if you have any questions for Charles during the show, please feel free to put them in the comments. And hopefully we're seeing all the comments. We'll see what happens here. Should have everything set correctly now. So we'll get started and we'll watch for your comments and let it happen as it happens here. So, all right. We always start with a question. Tell us about yourself. Give us some background on who Charles Millhouse is.
Well, I am a full-time chef. I work at a sorority on the campus of Ohio University. I've been doing it since 2012. So in the summer times, I don't work, so that's when I do most of my creating and go to a lot of shows and book promotions and things like that. So just a few months out of the year, I'm a full-time writer, and the other months I'm kind of a part-time writer. I'm married to my wife, Mary Ann, who might show up here after a bit. I have two boys, two sons. One is 29, and he's out living his life in the world, and my other one's 21, and he's at work right now. So um, that's me in a nutshell.
Sounds busy. Yeah.
I was telling myself the other day, I said, I get up in the morning, and the first thing I do when I get up is I go outside and start my wife's car so she can go to work and fix her breakfast. And then I come in and I get a shower and I get dressed and I go to work and I cook for all day for people. And then I come home, and a lot of times I cook dinner when I get home. And then a little bit after that, I go to bed. So a lot of it is just me doing things for everybody.
Yeah. You stay busy, and sounds like you're at the stove a lot.
Yeah, I am more than I am at the computer right now.
Yeah, I bet. Let's see. So we've got some questions coming in already. Let's see what we've got here. So Ted Davies Artistry. Charles, how do you balance full-time job and produce your creative endeavors? That's a great question.
It's a challenge. You get home at night after being on your feet for 9 hours, and the last thing you want to do is sit down and create. So I usually do a lot of that on the weekends. Saturday mornings, I get up real early, get to the computer, and do as much as I can before everybody gets out of bed. And then, so the weekends, on the weekends, my wife is on call. We have to stay home. She's a nurse. So she's on call this weekend, which means I'm going to be in my office a lot this weekend. So I'm excited to get a lot of things going. So we got Pulp Reality 2, getting ready to, all the stuff starting to come in for that. So I want to start putting that together and edit my own short story. And I'm writing a new Captain Hawklin book. So it's juggle time. And by the end of April, that things start to slow down. I'm back on break. So.
All right. Yeah. Just got to keep all those plates spinning, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Cindy Kep wants to know, what is your next project?
Well, Pulp Reality 2, the sequel to Pulp Reality, which came out last Christmas. And you're going to be in it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And we've got a couple other first timers in it. It's going to be bigger than the last one. We only had 7 writers and artists in the last one. We're going to have 10 in this one. And then I'm writing the next Captain Hawklin book, which is Captain Hawklin and the Invisible Enemy. Hopefully that'll be out sometime in late spring.
Awesome. Let's see. So how many books do you have out currently?
I first started publishing in 1999. So right now I've got 24. Evolution Man, I think, is my 24th book.
Wow. Of course, you've been writing a while, so.
I have. I tried doing it the old-fashioned way and set out query letter after query letter after query letter. And in 1999, self-publishing isn't like it is today. It was more vanity publishing. So I think I paid almost $1,000 to have my first book published. And it was a bad book. You can't get it anymore. It's horrible. I am going to, my plans are to rewrite it now, but I published it and it didn't do anything, of course, because you didn't have the internet the way it is now. No Facebook, no social media, no way to contact other writers. So a lot of my early stuff laid stagnant for a while, and then by the time the print on demand and ebook craze hit, that's when I said, all right, time to get to work.
So I've just been waiting for this, huh?
Yeah, that was around 2011, 12. And that's when I really started just throwing myself in there.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Let's see. We've got Jeff Hayes. Good evening, Amy, John, and Charles. Looking forward to this episode. Cheers. Glad you joined us, Jeff.
He did the cover for Evolution Man, and he has done a lot of the graphics. He did the graphic for Pulp Reality, and he has done a wonderful job. If you need someone to do graphics for you, Jeffrey Hayes is the man you need to talk to.
Yeah. So okay, so he did. Let me pull up those pictures that you sent me. So he did. You said Evolution Man.
Did Evolution Man.
Okay. So there you go. Look at that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I told him what the story was about and what I had in mind, and I told him, I said, I'm not ready. The book's not even written yet. And he sends me back this preliminary thing and says, "Was this what you're thinking?" And I thought, "Oh my gosh, yes, exactly." So he had the cover done long before I even had the book finished.
Oh, that is awesome. It looks great.
I used that graphic while I was writing. Every time I got stumbled or something, I went and looked at that graphic.
That's something I love about having a book cover before the book is done. It can help inspire you at times.
It does.
And we were talking about Pulp Reality. There's the cover for #1. For those of you that want to look that up, I guarantee you need to do it. I've read it. It's fantastic.
That cover is by Damien Alves. He's from Mexico City. And he did that, and he did some art on the inside, too.
Awesome.
He's done a couple of my Captain Hawklin covers.
That is great. That is great. Well, I know that I'm definitely going to be getting a hold of Jeff for some of his video stuff is fantastic too. So I've seen some of the trailers that he's done for Brian and whatnot, and I really want to have him do some for me. So I will be getting a hold of you at some point, Jeff. Let's see. Let's go back to comments here. Cindy Kep says, "What is your current project?" Well, we were talking about Pulp Reality 2.
Yep.
And then you said you were working on another Captain Hawklin.
Yep. And then I've got a whole list of things I need to write. It's just going to take a while.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
Yeah.
And it seems to grow instead of shrink the more I do.
Well, I was thinking today, I have so many characters that I just don't have time to write full-size novels for. So I'm using Pulp Reality to write short stories for those characters, so I can get the characters out into the world and see what, throw it at the wall and see what sticks, basically.
Exactly. And if people really resonate with something, then maybe you should develop it further.
Right.
That's a good way to do that. Yeah. Author Michaela Jade says, "Hey y'all."
Hey, Michaela.
A little bit of our country coming out there. Let's see. I think they've nailed some of these questions. I do want to ask, tell us about so you said you did your first book. And that it's not published anymore. I get that. I understand that totally. But how did you come up with the idea, and what was your process like?
Well, I wanted to write the Three Musketeers, but I wanted to write the Three Musketeers in space, and that's what I wrote with this.
Okay.
I went a little off the rails while I was writing it. I didn't when I started writing this, I didn't understand point of view. I didn't understand. I had like 10 point of view going on in the same page.
Yeah.
So, and I think the scope of the story for this book didn't work out the way I wanted. I mean, and my plotting wasn't very good, but I knew I wanted to tell a story where you had clear heroes and clear villains. And that's what this book delivers. But as far as getting it put out there the way I wanted, it stumbled, but it was a learning curve, because from that book I learned from my mistakes, and I went on to the next book, and every book, even Evolution Man, I find a mistake, and I know that my writing has gotten tighter as I've gone along, and with every project, my books. My storytelling gets better.
Yeah, that's my goal. Every book needs to be better than the last one.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm always, like you said, learning. We're always learning something new. And my first book was that same way. I had multiple point of views. Now it's still available. And there are times when I have thought about pulling it and rewriting it, but I don't absolutely hate it. There's just little things, technical things that bug me when I go back on it. But yeah, I've got kind of the head hopping, in some scenes and that kind of thing. But again, learning curve.
There's only a few authors can do that. Like Frank Herbert could do the omnipotent kind of point of view and have multiple point of view going on at the same time. And back in the 60s when he wrote Dune, it was commonplace. It's not so common now. So
It's actually mostly looked down on a lot. I know, like I was trying to figure out just not too long ago how, I read so much. How did I start writing this and just be like, okay, his thoughts, her thoughts, his thoughts, her thoughts. Where did I come up with that's okay with all the books that I've read? And then it dawned on me, I read a lot of historical romances, and in those books they were published back in, mid 90s, late 80s even, and then, forward, and that's done a lot in those, which is very different from what I actually write. So so I realized I kind of learned from the wrong genre. And I don't know if that's as prevalent now because I haven't read too many recent ones, but the ones that I have, if I go back and look, I can see some head hopping. And I mean, it didn't pull me out of the story. It didn't bother me, but I notice a lot of people complain about that now. So that's something I have to really be aware of when I'm writing, is that I stay with the correct point of view.
Yeah. And, and plotting is a lot different than story.
Mhm.
And I didn't realize that, of course, when I was writing the first book. And I've gotten a lot stronger with figuring out my plot for each character and where I want them to go. A lot of times I write from the seat of my pants instead of doing a lot of, because I always say my first draft is my notes.
Yeah.
Then I go back in and tighten up those notes.
Yeah.
Until
I'm a plantser. I have a little bit of a plot, but I mostly pants it.
Yeah, I'll have index cards with me, and I tape them up above my head, and I put the characters and stuff on it, and then I tape it back up here, so I know that Alia is going to have auburn hair at the beginning of the book and auburn hair at the end of the book. I've done that where one character the eyes will be green at the beginning of the book and blue by the end of the book. So
yeah, I have one book that was through a publisher, and I don't know, we all missed it, but a character apparently somewhere, he's not a major character, but he's a minor character. Somewhere about 3/4 of the way through the book, I decided to change the name a little bit. And it went from Chance to Chase, or Chase to Chance. And I didn't catch it. They didn't catch it. So currently it's still in the book. Thankfully we haven't had a lot of complaints, but it bugs me when I see it, because I'm like, how did we not catch that?
I have that in one of my Captain Hawklin books. I have a character whose name changes just slightly. No one's ever said, even my wife edited it, and I had a couple people proofread it, and I read it several times.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, good, we'll publish this book. And then about 6 months ago, I was reading through it just so I could find something about a character, because I was going to reuse them in the current story. And I noticed that the difference, and I thought, well, no one's picked it out, so
Where'd this character come from?
Yeah, that's what I figured. Chase and Chance were close enough. Maybe nobody really cared. And like I say, he was a very minor character anyway, but still, it was just one of those things. When I saw it, I was like, okay, how many editors and proofreaders and beta readers and ARC readers did we go through, and we all missed this?
Yep.
But, so I was going to ask you, your process before, has your process changed a lot since you first started writing, or do you still kind of do it all the same way? Your routine's the same, your plotting or lack thereof is the same?
It's changed over the years a little bit. Getting all of my character ideas worked out first, and who they are, and then and I have plot points for all these characters, knowing I want this character to be at this point by the end of the book. I want the character to grow by the end of the book.
Yeah.
So I'll write down those ideas and keep them taped above my head. And I think the major thing that's changed since I first started was our editing process. Our editing process has really changed. My wife edited my stories when I first started, and I think she thought, "Well, I'm just going to, he's just something he's going to forget about after a while. I don't have to do this anymore." And I think she realized that I was really serious about it, so she's really read up on editing and watched a lot of videos and talked to a lot of people. So her editing has gotten really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have another editor friend, and she helps out. And then I've got 2 really good beta readers that help out too. So people in place now that I didn't have 20 some years ago.
Yeah.
So that's the major thing that's really changed is just the editing. I want to make sure that it's as solid as it can be before it goes out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. A good editor is just invaluable.
Yeah.
They really are.
And it's not just so much the beta reader. You need a beta reader that's going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's like, Chuck, I don't like this character because of this reason. And if you change a few things and tighten him up, you don't need a beta reader who is a yes man or a yes woman. You need
it doesn't help you.
No, it doesn't at all. Don't worry about hurting my feelings. I want to make the book as best I can.
Yeah. Yeah. I have sent books to beta readers and listed questions, things that I was concerned about. Do you connect with this character? Do you think he's a jerk, or do you think he's, does he feel like the good guy, or do you feel like he's more just kind of, and just get all these things that I have questions about when I read a lot of books. And then, of course, at the end, anything else you can think of, don't be afraid to hurt my feelings.
Right.
Because I can't make this the best story possible without this input from you, this honest input. So, yeah, when I first started getting beta readers, I had a lot of people that were just like, "Oh, it's great." And being new and naive, I thought, "Oh, awesome. Apparently I just write the best books."
And
There's no problems at all with them, apparently.
I was always afraid when I first started that my wife was sparing my feelings, but now it's not so much. If she doesn't like something, she tells me.
That's good.
I've given her things to read, and she goes, "No, this is no good." I'm sitting here that I need to rework because she feels that it could be better.
And that's great, because that allows you to look at it objectively. It's really hard to look at our own stories objectively sometimes.
As the writer, you get so close to the characters and to the story, you don't see all the mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. Your mind just fills in the blanks on things that you already knew, but you're maybe not getting out in the story. So while it makes sense to you, other people are like, when did this happen? Or who is this person that just showed up mysteriously? Yeah. Well, let's see here. Let's see. We have more. Okay. So Jeff Hayes, what drove you to create your new pulp magazine, Pulp Reality?
I've been wanting to do something like that for a while. I really wanted it to look like a magazine, a traditional magazine. But after all the research that I did with a magazine, it would cost someone $20 for a magazine, and people aren't going to spend $20 on a magazine. So that's why I went with we call it a publication because I still think of it as a magazine, but it's something I always wanted to do. And back last spring, when the pandemic was just getting started, I thought, this is the time to think about this. So I just put a filler out there on my group saying, is anyone interested? Would anyone like to write for a pulp fiction story or magazine? Mm-hmm. And I got all kinds of yeses, and stories started coming in, and that's how it just started flowing. And I feel really good about how well the first issue was received. Mm-hmm. Because everybody who has read it has liked it. And, you can't make everybody happy. Not everybody's going to like every story.
Yeah.
But as a magazine or the publication as a whole, everybody has received it really well. So I think Pulp Reality 2 can only be better, can only be bigger.
Yeah, I'm really excited about Pulp Reality 2 because this is my first foray into pulp fiction. And of course, I'm getting to kind of dabble in my thing with the paranormal. So it's a ghost story, and I'm excited about that because it's been fun to put that together.
We've got a ghost story, your ghost story. We have a pirate story. I have a vigilante story. There is in the first book there was Clyde Hall did Real One for the B-Man, so he's doing the sequel to that. And then we have the second part to the first part was in issue 1. It was the Ace Anderson short story, but it was so big that we broke it up into 2 parts. So part 2 is going to be in the second issue. So we have all kinds of. Brian K. Morris is writing a Captain Hawklin Doc Saga crossover, and Bobby Nash is supplying a snow story. So
that'll be great.
Yeah,
that'll be great. That's awesome. Okay, so let's see here. John, how do you handle being the muse of Amy?
It's my second full-time job. Very demanding.
Yes, I'm.
Oh.
Crack that whip, babe, right?
What kind of show is this?
Yeah. With us, there's always a question about that. I guarantee it. Let's see. Teresa Dunn, hello. Cindy Cap says, quick elevator pitch for Evolution Man.
Oh gosh.
Put you on the spot.
It's, I tell everybody it's a retro sci-fi story in reminiscent of the $6 Million Man.
Oh,
cool. Oh, that's right up your alley then. Yeah. He was a big $6 Million Man fan.
That's one of the reasons I always wanted to write a $6 Million Man book, but I know I could never get the right, so I just created my own.
There you go.
Yeah.
That works. That works. Let's see. Chimera. Hello, Amy. Oh, look who's here. Marianne. Hi, Marianne. Let's see. Comic Talk with Pops Van Zandt. Hello. Glad you're joining us. And he says, Brian K. Who? We don't know. Brian K. something. It's, we just throw random vowels out and consonants and hope they stick. And
if we invoke his name too many times, he might show up if he's on the show.
It's possible. Oh yeah, our little. Have you seen this?
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So our little it's our mini Brian. we're gonna
leave home without him.
You should take that with you every place you go and take pictures and post them.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be the adventures of Brian. We're just going to take him everywhere with us.
I've got to take that in and finish it.
Yeah, he's going to take it in. He's going to paint on the sideburns and stuff like that, make it really, really resemble him. So it's going to be fun. We can finally start getting out again. Let's see. Pops Van Zandt says, Hail de Fez. Yeah,
Yes.
there we go.
Hashtag Fez Fetish.
Fez fetish. Oh, Lord. That might be, Brian's going to use that.
Yeah.
Of course he is.
No, he will. Absolutely. Okay, let's see. More questions here. Okay, so we talked about your most recent project. Where should we go next? Okay, so we're going to do this a little different. Who is your favorite author and why? Now, if we were talking to Brian, he would say it was himself. But
well, I actually have two. I have one living, one dead.
Okay.
The one dead is Frank Herbert, who I mentioned earlier, who wrote Dune and a bunch of other stuff, not just Dune. I love his style and his storytelling and how he can draw you into this universe and to the point that you're forgetting you're reading a fictional tale that's more like a historical tale by the time you're done. And then the writer that's alive, that is the author of the Dresden File series, Jim Butcher.
Oh, okay.
I love his style. He's a wordsmith. He can describe someone to the point that you believe that you've met that person.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know I'll read certain people and I'll think, oh, if only I could write like that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think the opening lines to I'm not sure if the name of the book now that I'm thinking about. The Haunting of Hill House. Did you see that on Netflix?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the book by Shirley Jackson, the first few paragraphs where she describes the house as like a living, breathing entity. Every time I read that, I just think, oh, I suck so bad.
Now, see, you can't say that because I tell people that I love Jim Butcher and I can't write like Jim Butcher, but Jim Butcher can't write like me.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. But I read it and I think, oh, if I could just bring whatever I'm writing to life in that way, I'm going to be pretty happy. Oh, okay. So where should we go with next?
The lead in his book.
Oh, yeah. If you could choose any actor to play a lead in one of your books, who would it be and what character would they play?
I was thinking about this today. I should sit down and pick old Hollywood actors to play my Captain Hawklin characters. Like there's a character in the Captain Hawklin books. His name's Hardy, and I always thought that James Stewart would make a good Hardy.
Oh, I love James Stewart. Yeah.
Or and Errol Flynn would make a great Captain Hawklin.
Oh, yeah.
I could see that. Yeah, yeah. There were so many classic actors that just, it's not a diss on any of them now, but they were different in that golden era, weren't they?
They were. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Pops Van Zant says Frank was the best.
Yep.
And Michaela J. Kristen, you'll be screaming my name in due time. Due time. So they have this rivalry going on about who can get the most YouTube subscribers, and it keeps bouncing back and forth. So, yeah, so they like to egg each other on, Christian and Michaela. Okay, what else do we got here? What is your most memorable fan encounter?
Well, it was probably not last year. In 2019, I was at Kokomo Con, and I had a woman come up to the table, and she goes, I drove an hour and a half just to come and meet you.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was kind of like, well, why would you do that? I wouldn't drive an hour and a half to see me. And she was a big fan of my Absolution book, and she read the ebook, and she wanted the actual physical copy. So she bought it so I could sign it for her.
Oh, that's awesome. And I've got a picture of that one here. I have listened to the audiobook of Absolution. And it was fantastic. I highly recommend it.
I'm going to write the sequel to it this summer.
There we go.
If you like Han Solo, Star Wars, it's reminiscent of that type of character.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. And Serena Darkwood is such a sassy character too. Yeah. She really, I love her.
Her and her robot companion Revo.
Yes. Who likes to talk back.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll do a lot more Revo in the next one, I think.
Awesome. Awesome. That's fantastic. Let's see. Do we have more comments here? Let's see. Cindy, the most peculiar feedback you've gotten. That's a good question.
Ooh. Well, I wrote a series called Talon's Epic. It was based on a man named Jeremiah Talon, who is an 18th century British naval officer who's abducted by aliens.
Ooh.
And I described his ship on Earth, a naval ship, and I evidently wrote the wrong cannons on his ship. And I got a review from a guy who was telling me that he stopped reading because the cannons were incorrect. And it just took him out of the story. And I'm thinking, if you just read it another 5 or 6 pages, he would have been abducted by aliens, and he wouldn't be back on that ship ever again. Everything else after that's made up.
Yeah.
Each their own, I guess.
Yeah. I have the Dragon Shifter book that I wrote. Somebody had posted that that I apparently I didn't make my character suffer enough during her shifting, and that it should hurt a lot more than it actually did.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I mean, I can see that, but it's fiction. So, okay. Whatever floats your boat.
Some people really get off on seeing characters suffer.
Yeah. I was trying to just get her through this.
Yeah.
To get to the important part where she's actually a dragon, but okay. Let's see. Michaela J says, "Oh my God, that's so cool to have a fan like that. That really is awesome. That is awesome."
Yeah.
And then she asked the question that we really hadn't got to yet, but we have on our list. What drew you or draws you to write the sci-fi stuff?
As far as back as I can remember, because I can remember the moon landing, and I remember I wanted to be an astronaut. Of course, that never happened, but Also, Star Trek was on TV around that same time, and I grew up with that. And it seemed like after Star Trek, science fiction is just where I went. Either Star Wars. I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, not the new stuff. I don't like that at all. Just the old stuff. And I've always just gravitated towards science fiction, action, adventure. I remember watching a lot of the old cliffhanger serials from the 1930s and 40s when they used to play them on PBS, and that was my first draw into pulp stuff too. And then I started reading Doc Savage and The Shadow and The Spider and anything I could get my hand on, old thrilling Western magazines, anything I could find when I was a kid. And that's just the way I've always gone. They say write what you know, and I really know science fiction, superheroes, that kind of stuff. So
yeah, that's awesome. Big Doctor Who fan here too, though. I'll admit I do like the new stuff, but I'm very nostalgic with the old stuff too. Tom Baker was my first Doctor, so
I always say Tom Baker is the best, but John Pertwee is my favorite.
I do. It's funny. I don't remember a lot of, and I don't know why. I don't know if it was the time or whatever, what I was doing. I don't remember a lot of John's stuff. But like Tom Baker and Colin Baker stand out like really fresh in my memories as far as what sitting in front of the TV with my parents and watching it as a kid. Let's see, what else do we? Oh, your biggest pet peeve as a writer?
Not having enough time.
It's like you got to be not having enough time, just period, to write.
Nah, just period. Just not having enough time.
It's not time. It is time consuming, and sometimes it's more time consuming than it feels like it should be.
You sit down, you start writing. You sit down at 7 a.m, you look up, and the next thing you know, it's 10:30, and it's like, where did it go? Like you're stuck into a time vortex or something.
Yeah, especially if you look down and you realize it's been that long and I've only written like 500 words.
Yeah, that too.
That's really frustrating. Yep. Let's see. Cindy keeps the cereals, fun stuff. Yeah. Michaela Jade says, what book drew you in the most or the best?
Well, it goes back to Frank Herbert's Dune again. I have read Dune. I graduated high school in 1983, and that was the first year I read Dune, and I've read it every summer since 1983.
Oh, wow. That's dedicated.
Yeah, I love the book. And I've read the other ones after it, and I've read the prequel stuff written by his son, but I've read that first book over and over again, and to the point now that I can quote it a lot. I don't even have to really read it. I'm just skimming it.
Your brain's it. So
that's the book that drew me in the best.
Awesome. That is a good book for sure. Cindy says, in the matter of older sci-fi TV, have you seen Space 1999?
I got the lunchbox right up there on the shelf. Yes.
I guess you have then.
My one of my really good friends, Dennis, is a huge Space 1999 fan. He's got all the props and ships and books and comics, and so yeah, I remember Space 1999 really well.
I don't think I've seen that one. I'll have to look it up. Let's see. What else do we got over here?
I have to say, I was a huge Buck Rogers fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Gilgerard. Yep.
Yes. Well, yeah, I think he was in it. Aaron Gray, I know for sure was in it, but anyway.
Yep. I think he was just looking at Aaron Gray.
Maybe that was the attraction of it. But I loved that show. But right at that same time where we were at, they were playing a lot of the Lost in Space.
Yeah.
And that just about ruined it for me for sci-fi. I couldn't get past the old man.
If you watch the first 3 or 4 episodes of Lost in Space, it's really straightforward science fiction. And then all of a sudden they decided to go to more campy, like Batman.
Yeah. Yep. I thank goodness for Buck Rogers, because it saved me.
He saved more than he knew, didn't he? Let's see. Michaela Jade says, "What is your writing kryptonite?"
Oh.
Writing kryptonite. I am not a perfect speller. I am not a perfect speller. But luckily, with this new Apple, I just hit a button, say the word, and it spells it for me. So
That's nice, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of dictionary and thesaurus.com.
Yeah. Or I really like to go to a website called wordhippo.com. You
Oh,
type
yeah.
type in any word, and it give you all kinds of suggestions. I use
Yeah.
that one quite a bit too.
Yeah, that one's pretty cool. I've just only recently started using that one. And then my kryptonite is more like, I don't know, not punctuation, but commas. I either underuse them or I overuse them. Then I get to thinking about, wait, should that have a wait, I'll put it in there and hopefully somebody will tell me I'm wrong if I'm
There you
wrong.
go. That's what editors are for.
That's right. That's right. Let's see. Cindy Kep says, yeah, when my folks ask me what I'd like for birthday, Christmas, 2 days a week no one knows about is always the first thing. It'd be nice if you could just be like, okay, I don't exist for these 2 days. Leave me completely alone. That would be great. Have you ever had to set aside the writing and do something else for a bit?
Yeah. Summertime, we have a garden and everything, so I tend to get outside and work a lot in the garden. And my wife and I love to go kayaking, so we usually go kayaking a lot. And then, of course, when you're kayaking, inevitably you come up with more story ideas. But yeah, I have to set it aside to do other things. I mean, in the real world, I could sit in this chair all the time and just write, but you have responsibilities as an adult, unfortunately,
Yeah.
and mortgage due. So you have to get up and do things.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Same way with us. And when you talk about kayaking and the stories come, my favorite way to break when I'm kind of blocked up is to get on our motorcycle. There's just something about riding that just like frees everything up. I don't know if it's maybe I'm not being interrupted and I can just sit there and let my mind run. But yeah, it's funny how those things just you're getting away from it and yet it's all just rushing in at the same time.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there any more over here you want to go with before we move on?
As a chef, I obviously want to know about the food
Yes,
combination.
this is one we ask everyone. What weird food combinations do you enjoy?
Oh, I like candied bacon.
Candied bacon. Yeah.
I like the sweet and the savory together. So I do that a lot when I'm cooking. I'm not quite sure the girls at sorority appreciate it, so sometimes I got to really pull it back. The girls at sorority love chicken. They eat a lot of chicken.
Oh yeah.
I could fix chicken for lunch and dinner every day, and I probably wouldn't get a complaint. And you would think when I first started working at a sorority, I thought college girls are going to want to eat healthy, and they're going to want fish, lots of fish. They hate fish. Shrimp I can put out, but not tilapia or salmon or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of chicken and lots of cookies and cupcakes and things like that. So
that's funny. Yeah, I would have thought it had been more salads and things like that too.
Well, we're not getting a spring break this year because they canceled it because of COVID.
Yeah.
So usually about this time of year, all they want to eat is salads because they're getting ready to go to the beach. Well, this year no beach, so I made cupcakes for them yesterday, and they ate them like they're going out of style. So
they're like, I don't gotta fit in a bikini. I don't care. Let's see. Cindy Kemp says your favorite techie tool.
I'm not very tech savvy. I guess just my iPhone. I mean, I do everything on it. Come up with story ideas on it. Do all my social media on it. Very seldom do I actually use it as a phone.
Yeah.
I tend to use it for everything else, but because I don't like to talk on the phone. I'd rather
the same way.
my day.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If you're calling me, it better be important, or you better be someone that I talk to regularly anyway. Let's see. Cindy says Word Hippo is a cool site. I agree. Michaela said, I was just going to say that my editing software finds commas and asks me if I truly need them. Marion says, yes, when his wife makes him go to work. She says, get busy, boy.
He makes it go to work. Yep.
Let's see. She says, ooh, where do you kayak at? We love to kayak too.
Well, we have a lot of local lakes in the area. Actually, there's 5 or 6. So we tend to go on those. We usually go one that's closest to us, but we're going to try to go different places this summer. And we thought about going to Lake Erie too.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
So how far are you from Lake Erie then?
We're about 4.5 hours.
Oh, okay. It's not too bad a trip then. Yeah.
Go up to there's a couple islands. There's South Bath Island and there's Kelly's Island, and you can go up there and you can rent a house for the week or something like that. And lots of camping
Ooh,
areas, so it's pretty up there.
that sounds nice.
Ooh,
Sounds really nice.
yes.
What advice would you have for those wanting to get into publishing?
Don't do it. No.
We all say that. Run.
Do it every day. Do it like you. You got to be passionate about it. If you're sitting down to write, thinking I'm going to be the next Stephen King and I'm going to make loads of money, stop, put it away, and walk away.
Yes.
I write because I enjoy it. For a lot of years, I wrote and didn't make any money. I still don't make a lot of money, but I do it because I enjoy it. So make sure you're writing what you want to read. That's basically when I write things, it's something I want to read. And just do it every day and read as much as you can and read a lot on the art of writing. Watch there's a lot of YouTube videos out there too that are a big help, or shows like this are a big help. Reach out to other writers like Brian or me or you, and we give advice to people all the time, but then don't hang on them like you can't do it without them, because eventually they're going to push you away. You've got to do it on your own. And be prepared to take criticism, because if you got a thin skin, then maybe writing is not for you.
Yeah, because there's definitely a lot of critics out there. Everybody has their own opinion on something, and it's not always nice. And
well, that's what I've learned being a chef. I know you can't make everyone happy, so you do the best you can do. If you're happy and you make a few people happy, then that's what matters.
Yeah. I always figure if I've entertained one person with my story, then I've done pretty good. Yeah. Let's see. And we had, okay. So here's a new question that I just added to our normal questions. What mythical creature do you wish actually existed?
There's a couple. Dragon, probably.
Yeah, see, that's what I would say too. I'm all about the dragons.
If there's a dragon, it needs to be slayed. So,
Oh, see, I just want one as a pet.
I want one to battle, not like Harry Potter, but one you really battle.
Oh, see, I would have my dragon over here trying to protect it from Charles. Don't touch my baby. Let's see. Oh, okay, here's a good one from Cindy. What Muppet are you most like?
I'm most like Fozzie Bear.
Fozzie Bear. There you go. Fozzie's fun. And he's good with the dad jokes.
Now, my wife might say I'm more like the Swedish Chef. But I'm going to go with Fozzie Bear.
You just walk around going, bork, bork, bork.
Bork, bork.
Oh, that's fun. Okay, so I know that you have limited time. So let's jump into what book or movie could you read or watch over and over and with getting tired with that? I think you've answered that. I think it's Dune.
Dune, but if it's a movie, it's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So Marianne agrees. Swedish Chef. Okay, so we're going to do a quick round of this or that. So just give us your quick answer of either one. We'll let John take it from here.
Okay.
Phone call or text?
Text.
Mac or PC?
For a long time, I would say PC, but now it's a Mac.
There we go. Tennis shoes or flip-flops?
Flip-flops.
Money or free time?
Money.
Toilet paper, over or under?
This is a marriage question here. Do
Um,
you put the toilet paper over or under?
Under.
So that's mullet. Over's a
Mullet.
beard.
Over's a beard. That's mullet.
Under's a
and
mullet.
under.
Oh, train or airplane?
Airplane.
Oceans or mountains?
Oceans.
Dine in or delivery?
Delivery.
Comic book or comic strip?
Comic book.
Paperback or ebook?
Paperback.
City or country?
Say that again.
City or country?
Country.
I'll tell you.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Trek.
Okay.
As he's throwing in a bonus one there. Oh, let's pull up your let's pull up that photo you sent me real quick. Make sure everybody gets to get a look at it. Let me find the right one. Here we go. Okay, so guys, make sure you check out the Captain Hawklin Adventures by Charles Millhouse on Amazon.com.
They can also go to choosetheadventure.net.
Okay.
Oh,
That's a lot of Captain Hawklin stuff there. Choosetheadventure.net.
Choosetheadventure.net. Awesome. I suddenly just flashed back to the Choose Your Own Adventure books. My brain from the 80s, you know. I've actually still got one from, I don't know what year, it was early 80s, but I cherish that book because I loved reading those.
I've thought about doing a Captain Hawklin Choose Your Adventure.
That would be
Oh,
that would be pretty cool. Do a
Yeah.
modern take on it. That would be
Yeah.
awesome. All right, and let's pull up the the banners here. So we can find Charles at stormgatepress.com.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much encompasses everything that he has.
Yep.
And you can also find him on Facebook in groups, Author Millhouse Presents. And you said you do a lot of stuff in there, right?
And if you're a creator, artist, writer, or anything, and join the group. You can post your books and stuff in there to promote yourself.
Awesome. Charles is great about being part of the rising tide that way. He likes to help everybody up here. We've got from the desk of a small publisher. Choose Your Adventure books are great. They are. They were so fun.
Yeah, sure.
They were a lot of fun. Let's see. Thanks for playing. Great fun had by all. Thanks for joining us, Cindy.
Cindy.
And
where's he gonna be? Is he gonna be?
yeah, do you have any anything coming up? Any shows you're gonna be at? I know that everything's kind of iffy right now, but
Yeah, I have a few shows booked. Most of them are in June, but nothing is concrete yet. But I will post it on the group and on my website when something gets more solid. I know they're actually going to have it. There is going to be a pulp fiction convention in Cleveland in June, and as far as I know, I'm going to be there. But I'll when I get the dates for sure, I'll post them.
okay,
Cool to go
awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that sounds fun. Actually, I'm gonna try to go to that one or just go hang out. That would be great. And let's see. Is there anything else that you want to let us know about before we let you go?
No, I don't. I think we've touched everything.
Cover everything.
We did. other than Pulp Reality 2 coming out, and you're going to have a story in it. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the cover.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you're going to love the cover.
Oh, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it.
Clayton Merwin did the cover, and it's beautiful. I'll let everybody see it that's in the bullpen group before we post it live. So.
Okay, awesome. I can't wait. And also, are you going to be at NonCon again this year?
I am going to be at NonCon.
Awesome. So are
We'll
we.
try to be there on the Friday too, but I
Mhm.
work on Fridays, and that's kind of at the beginning of our semester, so I might have to actually come in on Saturday instead of.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, NonCon is an event in Middleton, Ohio. It takes place in a haunted school.
Yep.
So if you are into that kind of thing, definitely come check it out. We had an EMF meter at our table last year that was a Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
Saturday would not shut up. The thing went nuts. And I don't know if we told you this story, Charles, about what happened on Sunday.
No.
So Keith Age, who helps run it, was across from us, and they do the haunted tours, in the evenings after everything's shut down. And we had just had our table covered, we were gone. And he asked me the next day, he came up to me and he said, "Are you psychic, or, do you have anything like that?" And I'm like, "Well, I've been told by other people that I am. I can't tell you that I've, done anything, but I've been told by others, there's something about you." And he said, "Okay, so I thought I would let you know. I guess when they were doing their investigation, they actually caught two figures playing behind my table."
Really?
And supposedly some other stuff happening around my table that was just really cool, and it really makes me wish I would have been there.
See, now in the room we were at upstairs, every so often it got really cold in the room.
Oh yeah.
To the point that I got goose flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So, and then they did the seance thing in there, and that's when it went really off the rails.
Oh wow! Oh, I didn't know about the seance one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There they had they brought out the spirit of one of the people that was killed in the train wreck.
Oh yeah, because that happened on that property. That's right.
Yeah, right behind the school. So
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
But if I'm not going to be there on the Friday, you guys are going to make sure there's a table down there with you guys.
Yes, we need to have you in our area this time.
Yes. We'll save a spot next door.
Yeah, we'll talk to them about that, because it'll be us, be Brian. I think Molly Daniels is coming back. I think John B. Pica may be there again. I know Magi Jake's going to be there with his magic show, I think, again. So a lot of people that we got to see last year are coming back. So that should be a lot of fun.
Great.
But you guys, if you like spooky, you definitely got to come check this place out. It is wild.
It's free to get in.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, free to get in.
It's worth coming just to come in and see us. So.
Oh yeah. And even last year with the the pandemic and the worries, we did really good. We all had our masks, we had hand sanitizer, we had the table spaced. They did really good about keeping everybody kind of spaced out. So that was, that made us much more comfortable being there, and we had a good time. And I'm hoping that by this September, it will all be so much better. Yes. Than even what we're doing now. So with any luck. But all right, well, we've been going an hour, and I know Charles has an early morning, so we don't want to keep him too long here. But we really, really appreciate you joining us, Charles.
I had fun. It's great.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Can't
for
wait
showing
to get
up.
to see you guys in person again.
Yeah, I know.
Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon.
So. Really hope so.
Yeah, it's real. We were just talking about how those events, their work, they're kind of like our mini getaways. And we're really missing those getaways right now.
Probably look into getting into Kokomo Con. Brian and I are there, and last year they had tables, empty spaces between each of the tables, and it still had a lot of space for different people. So you should probably look into.
Yeah, I will have to check into that. definitely.
not
Because I've
typical.
heard Brian talk about it too.
It's just a one-day event, and it's really fun. And a couple other people that I know, a couple artists show up there, so yeah, it's fun too.
Cool.
Okay, yeah.
Cool.
Well, we'll definitely have to talk about that more.
Yeah.
I will hit you up with some information.
Okay,
So, all right, we're going to close out the show, but if you'll hang around for just a few minutes,
Sure.
So we can chat a minute before we're done.
okay.
Thank you again for hanging out with us so much. We appreciate it. All right, guys. Thank you for coming to the show tonight. Thank you for all your great questions. Once again, you guys have made our job so easy because we don't have to fight coming up with stuff because you guys just keep it rolling, and we appreciate that so much. And again, thanks for Charles for showing up. I guess that's about it. Next week, you guys, we have a treat for you. Next week, we have author Terry Maggart joining us next week. So if you guys want to, I don't even know how to describe, if you're going to laugh, okay, because Terry is just a character. He is a character. You guys are going to love him. So definitely show up next week, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern time, for Creative As Hale on YouTube or on Facebook, and we will have a chat with Terry. And we got a lot of good people lined up, guys. I'm so excited about everything coming, and we've had so many great guests already that we're excited what we got going on here. So, all right, you guys, have a good night. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week. And don't forget about the Rising Tide Network. I believe there is I think it's Stupid O'Clock tonight, I believe it is. Sorry if I've got that wrong, guys, but Stupid O'Clock. I know tomorrow Michaela Jade has her Tidbits and Scribbles at 7. I think it's 7 o'clock Central on YouTube. And then there's, I don't know. There's just so many shows, guys. You just need to check out the Rising Tide Network page for all the information. And again, that's in the show notes. There's always something going on. So we're going to say goodnight, and I hope you all have a great evening, and we will talk to you soon.
Be strong. Be strong.